mymarketingcoach.com, where you earn more, work less, and enjoy life. And I want to share with you today how you can lose the sale in 5 seconds or less. Over the past year, one of my coaching clients gave my wife and I a gift of ballroom dancing lessons. So we went to the lessons. The instructor was really good. We enjoyed working with him. We had a lot of fun at the classes, and we were considering whether we were going to continue with the classes with him, because everything up to then really led us that we were going to take that direction. But then he made one statement that ended his chance of the sale totally, completely, and no chance at all after he said this. And the line that he said was that this would be the hardest thing that we ever did. The moment he said that, the sale was over. There was no chance I was going to sign up for that. Like I'm going to sign up for the hardest thing I've ever did and pay him to take me through that. Like, that's going to happen. It's not going to happen. I don't know if that motivated some of his other clients. Maybe they wanted a challenge, but it definitely didn't motivate me into action, that's for sure. So even though we had thought about it up to that point, even though we had discussed it and we pretty much had said that we were going to do it, the moment he said that, it was over. We were not going to do it. And so what I want you to think about this, and in your own business, is think about the words that you use in your business and the emotional connections that people might have to that. See, as soon as he said this would be the hardest thing I ever done, I immediately think back to some of the hardest things I ever did, like delivering pizzas in the middle of a blizzard. That was one of the hardest things I ever did. I remember one time I got up, had to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I had to deliver newspapers when we're talking below zero outside, back when I lived in Indiana before I started my business online. And those are some of the hardest things I ever did. And there's no way I want that. So that's the emotional connection with that. But look at how other businesses use the emotional connections of words. For example, right now we have, in cell phones, you have the Apple iPhone, which basically is the reigning champ. And then you have the Google Android that's coming out in competition to them. Whenever they talk about each other, when the Android talks about the two different phones, they'll talk about the Android system as being open and the iPhone as being closed. And when you think of terms in that way, you'll think, well, I definitely want the open system. I don't want the closed system. I don't want a restrictive system. I want a system that allows more freedom, that's more open, that allows more opportunities. That's what you think about when you think open or closed. If Apple discusses the exact same subject, the differences in the systems, they'll describe it with two different terms. They'll call it integrated and fragmented, is one of the phrases they'll use. They'll say that the iPhone isn't closed, it's integrated. And then the Android, it's not open, it's fragmented. And so the two companies can discuss the same subject with totally different terms, and that brings up different emotions in your mind. Of course you want something that's integrated. You want something that everything works together well. You don't want something that's fragmented and it doesn't work right with each of the pieces. The pieces don't correspond with each other. So look, we can change the emotional overtones just by changing the words, even when discussing the exact same subject. So what we need to think about that in our own business is, what emotional connections do our customers have with the words that we're using? One of the best tools that you can get is pick yourself up a cheap thesaurus off Amazon or a bookstore, or use some of the ones that are available online, and look for other words that you can replace some of your terms for. And always look for how you can explain what you're offering in the simplest terms possible and with the connections that people have with those words.